toxic. It seems like you can't find yourself, and you the one that caused it. You say that you don't need no help. You and me, we can never be. I like crazy, but you too extreme. You'll never find another one like me. When we fuck, I push you right to sleep. I know what you want and I know what you need. You like turning up, it seems like every week. I have to let you go, I don't like what I see. With all them niggas round you, you would probably cheat. I'm not insecure, I just know how it be. I'm not the type to put a bitch up on a leash. That's why I let you ratchet your hoes do what you please. You thought that you could play me, you can have a seat. I got plenty hoes, they always in my reach. I can have some different bitches every week. They say they love the song, they put it on repeat. They know the shit about them, but they really freaks. Bitch, you really toxic. It seems like you can't find yourself, and you the one that caused it. You say that you don't need no help. Don't never tell me that you love me. See, I don't want you, but you want me. This life I live, you don't know what it cost me. You gon' find a one, but baby, it's not me. She said, come over so we can just chill. I told her if I come over, you know the deal. I don't waste my time, I'm just being real. I told her truth and now she out up in her feels. What do you want from me? I can't give you love, but I can give you company. I don't think I ever owe you one apology. You knew what you was getting into when you got with me. I don't want you thinking I was playing with your heart. I don't wanna wife you, but you wanna play that part. I told you don't get feelings from me from the very start. You should've listened to me, baby, now look where we are. Ooh, look where we are. Ooh, look where we are. Ooh, look where we are. Bitch, you really toxic. It seems like you can't find yourself, and you the one that caused it. You say that you don't need no help. Don't never tell me that you love me. See, I don't want you, but you want me. This life I live, you don't know what it cost me. You gon' find a one, but baby, it's not me. You gon' find a one, baby, it's not me. You gon' find a one, baby, it's not me. Oh, guys, I got some bad news, man. I don't think Drew or Speed are going to join me today, so it's going to be a relatively short live. But short and sweet, we'll get to the point. Adi Medi goes, don't mess with the Lion. 4 fights for Canelo with Riyadh season. The deal is done. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. Fear the lion, not the jungle. Canelo, let's go, brother. Man, right on, Adi Medi. Hell yeah, bro. You know what, man? All I'm going to say is this, bro. Like, when I look at Canelo's career, right? Warp Speed, Vince, man. Happy Thursday. Salute to you guys, man. Hopefully you guys are wrapping up the work week. You know, really strong, man. What a great start to the year in 2025. A lot of tumultuous things going on in the world, but hopefully I can do it some justice just so we can relax a little bit. But you know what, man? As I look out over at Canelo's career, my favorite fights from him have been the ones that aren't on pay-per-view. Like his fight versus Ponchito Gomez, his fight versus Josecito Lopez, his fight versus James Kirkland. Watch this. Hold on.
I wonder if Canelo Alvarez has punched out a little bit after all the throwing in the last minute of the first round.
No, he's not, Jim. This is what he's used to. This is what he prepared for. And as you know, he was taking his time, economically picking his shots. He wasn't just going haywire with them. So he is not punched out.
That was the right uppercut. Team Kirkland hoped to avoid. They're getting hit with everything. But that uppercut lifted him off the canvas. Up to the body, right to the body. body right uppercut. Another big rally by Alvarez.
These right here, these are my most favorite fights from Canelo Alvarez. The ones where he's, showcasing all his skills, his talents, his combination punching, short, sweet, to the point, 5-6 rounds. Those are my favorite Canelo Alvarez fights. Now, the ones where I'm trying to study and it's a clash of styles, Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, Triple G, Caleb Plant, Bivol, Austin Trout. Those are the fights where I have pen and paper and I'm studying the angles, the feints, the footwork, the combination punching, etc. But my most enjoyable, like where I have the most joy watching Canelo, are those fights that I mentioned with James Kirkland, Gennady Golovkin Part 2, right? Those are my most favorite Canelo Alvarez fights and moments where I can just sit back and just relax, and I know that I'm going to get just guys that come to fight. And those are, anyway, I preface this because I'm a little perplexed, as I'm reading these news from Eddie Hearn and Bleacher Report, and I look up at the news with Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez, right? MMA fighting. People are saying that this fight's going to be on Netflix. Hopefully it's free, right? Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Adi Mehdi says that this fight's going to be on Riyadh season, right? Sources say that Canelo's supposed to fight Jake Paul on May 3rd. The Canelo bout versus Crawford bout canceled. Is he going to fight David Benavidez? I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys, man. I no longer care. I'm just going to enjoy Canelo's fights for what they are. And Canelo's time is coming to an end, right? He's got 66 total fights, 62 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. He's nearing 70 fights. And what more can we ask of this dude? Yes, sure, there's David Benavidez. There's the winner of Bivol versus Arthur, right? There's potentially William Skull, Bud Crawford. But if he were to fight these guys, we're not going to give him any credit. People didn't give Canelo credit when he fought Dimitri Bivol. They didn't give him credit for fighting Bivol, right? No one even knew about Bivol. They didn't know that Bivol was a 5-1 underdog. The reality is, man, like, people don't want Canelo. They want Canelo to get knocked out. And the crazy part is, it's his own people, his own patriots in Mexico, right? Like Nacho Berenstein. These guys are his hardest critics, Juan Manuel Marquez. And these are guys that I would study. I mean, Marquez is my favorite fighter, but these guys have so much hate and anger towards Canelo Alvarez. It's so shocking to me. Instead of being proud and orgullo that Canelo is holding it down and bringing pride and wins to the Mexican fans and to Mexico, the most people that are critical about his career are modern day legends. That's what's shocking to me. That's what's shocking to me. And it's just like, a lot of people didn't give Canelo about the 3 fights that he had with Gennady Golovkin, right? They weren't excited for them. In fact, they always complain about how they robbed Gennady Golovkin in the first fight, and then how he cheated going into the rematch and he got postponed, and clenbuterol and all of these things. They didn't give him credit for fighting Austin Trout and beating Austin Trout after Austin Trout defeated Miguel Cotto. They didn't give him credit for fighting Miguel Cotto after upsetting and knocking down 3 times and then eventually stopping him in the 11th round, Sergio Maravilla. You get what I'm saying? So the list goes on and on, where it's just like, there's nothing that Canelo can do where people are going to give him credit. African-American fans did not tune in to support Jermell Charlo to fight Canelo Alvarez. In fact, they called his ass dumb, right? They're basically going to do the same thing and not tune in for Bud Crawford.
because they didn't tune in for Bud Crawford to fight Madrimov. And that was one of my favorite Bud Crawford fights. What I'm basically saying is this. No one is going to respect Canelo until he gets knocked out. And that's just the cold, like, that's the truth about it. A lot of fans did not give him credit for Erisland Lara fight. They didn't give him for at 22, 23 to fighting Floyd Mayweather. And you ask yourself, what can Canelo possibly do where he's going to be able to please the fans? The reality is nothing. So he decides to fight Jake Paul. Guys, every single one of you guys would fight Jake Paul for 2, 5, 10, 35, 100 million. Why can't Canelo? You see, when Jake Paul builds this machine, when Logan Paul turns his YouTube business and content creation and he gets sponsorship deals on Netflix and Prime Energy drinks, why Americans, the young people, aspire to be like the Paul brothers? We can call them clowns and all of these things and whatever's, but in America, they applaud these guys. Wrestle on WWE. But when Canelo tries to do the same things, man, crab in a bucket mentality when it comes down to Mexicans. And in Mexico, they want to strip them down. Like, they have no pride. And we have one of the greatest cultures in the world. Low riding culture, how we dress, our food, our music, our history, our women, our work ethic. And I just don't understand when it comes down to support, how we don't support Canelo. It's crazy to me. So when I look really, like, I take back and I just try to look through the lens of, like, am I in support of this fight? No. Of course I want Benavidez. I want Canelo to see if he can knock out Artur Beterbiev, right? But these are some big-ass dudes. And I know Canelo's like 5'6". He's going to be fighting Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul's like 6'2" at 200 pounds. Like, bro, that's pretty crazy. You saw how small Floyd Mayweather looked when he fought Logan Paul. When Floyd Mayweather fought Logan Paul, it is not equivalent to Canelo fighting Jake Paul. Logan Paul was like throwing windmill, like not even rock'em sock'em punches. He was slapping, especially in the first round. If you go look at it, it's like, Jake Paul has at least an established jab. Now, Jake Paul's fighting fake fights. He's not fighting real fighters, right? We get that. Well, he's fighting real fighters, but he's not fighting real prime boxers. When he fought, Tyson Fury's brother, Tommy, he couldn't even get around the jab, but he was still able to knock down Tommy Fury. I'm just saying this, like Floyd Mayweather had to figure out Logan Paul, like how Floyd Mayweather had to figure out, Conor McGregor. Now add 5-6 years to Jake Paul, and it's a little serious, man. Like, Jake Paul has some advantages going into this fight besides just the size, not just the arm length and the chin and possibly being on some type of PEDs, right? He's got essentially everybody rooting for him. Vince goes, man, who are you going for? Nah, I'm going for Canelo, bro. I'm going for Canelo. There's just no way that I can root for Jake Paul. There's just no way I can go for Jake Paul. But yeah, man, Warp Speed goes in the Super Bowl. I don't know. All right, let me read a couple of these comments. Warp Speed goes good. Even fall, gentlemen. Yup, news just broke about 10 minutes ago. Super Bowl Sunday, but I might not be watching. I hope they both lose. Wow, what a power move by Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan. Headed for my headgear now. Give me a minute. So who you guys going for? And the Super Bowl? I don't know. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying about this fight. I'm sure the reason why this fight got announced, especially if it's going to be on Netflix, before the Super Bowl is key. They're going to announce it in the Super Bowl. They're going to announce that Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez is fighting. That's the biggest promotion. That's the only promotion that this fight really needs. If you can just say that during the promotion of the Super Bowl, you're done. And I think that's why this fight got finalized or announced right now before days, hours before the Super Bowl starts. As for the Super Bowl, Vince, I'm going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs, man. And I'll tell you why I'm going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. Because in our short lifetime, I want to see history being made. See, I wasn't born when the United States of America landed on the moon. And when everybody is gathered around their TV or maybe outside having a picnic and looking up at the stars. That symbiotic cohesiveness, that shared moment of experience, it's historic. I haven't really been a part of that. You get what I'm saying? So I really want to see history be made. And now in this day and age, and when I was basically born, it's the technological age, right? So a lot of that stuff, that shared common experiences that people are having these days, unfortunately, it's through the lens of sports, right? Whether it's Barry Bonds breaking Hank Aaron's home run record, where it's Patrick Mahomes, maybe going through a three-peat. Same thing like my Golden State Warriors, our Golden State Warriors. I want to see history being made, and I'll be rooting for the Chiefs on that aspect. Yes, I don't like how the refs make these calls that gives them a second opportunity to march down the field and make a drive. I get it, but I'll be rooting for them, man. If the Eagles win, shout out to the Eagles, bro, because they're a good team. They also beat Tom Brady in 2017. I've always been a big fan of Brian Dawkins, Troy Polamalu. I'm a safety guy, so those guys have always, culture has been solid for me. So I don't really mind who wins, but I'll be rooting for the Chiefs. Big fan of Patrick Mahomes, man. I think he's the greatest quarterback I ever saw. Lights Out Saul says Canelo dropped Berlanga and he weighed 200 pounds. Yeah, that's true. He weighed 193 pounds. And, that's a lot. That's a lot. But he didn't stop Berlanga. In fact, Berlanga versus Jake Paul, that'd be a good fight, bro. I actually, I would favor Berlanga, but I don't know, man. Berlanga versus Jake Paul that'd be a good fight. Yes, he did drop Berlanga. Dropped him with left hook in the third round, I think. He couldn't stop him. I don't even think he made Berlanga bleed. The Mexican G goes, man, I've got all the respect for Canelo. Wait. I've lost all respect for Canelo, or you got all the respect for Canelo? He's a coward. Canelo ain't no Mexican. Oh, man, that's funny, bro. Hold on. Am I reading this correctly? Canelo dropped Berlanga. He weighed 20. Okay, that's Saul saying that. He's a coward, Canelo. If Paul wins, who should Paul fight next? Oh, man. I thought Mexican G, we were just talking about it yesterday, bro. I thought you were like the biggest Canelo Alvarez fan and you could do no wrong. And Pachuco was the one that was saying, nah, bro, scratch that. I can't support it, X, Y, and Z. Vince goes, what if Paul wins? Who should Paul fight next? Honestly, his brother Logan. Jake Paul, if Jake Paul were to beat Canelo Alvarez, if he can't run it back, this is my only thing. This is my only hiccup. And I can look at it from this angle. Is Canelo going to try to destroy the hype job of Jake Paul, the American dream, the Latin snake Jake Paul? Is he trying to really ruin him? Or is he going to give us, like how Anthony Joshua knocked out Francis Ngannou and killed the charade of who's the toughest man? Or is Canelo going to give us a bullshit fight like Tyson Fury did versus Francis Ngannou? Because I hope Canelo doesn't do that, man. I hope Canelo does not put a Tyson Fury in Francis Ngannou. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's got to destroy that momentum. If he doesn't, and Jake Paul, let's say, were to go the distance, man, Jake Paul will get all the credibility. How Logan Paul was like, man, I fought Floyd Mayweather, my favorite fighter. It was a dream come true. Nah, bro, Canelo got to knock him out. You see, Jake Paul should have knocked out Mike Tyson. Bro, I know that you can jab him to death and circle around for 2 minutes, but you got to knock him out, because the idea of knocking him out kills the idea that a 20-year-old should not be fighting a 70-year-old. And he took it, you know what I mean? Like, no way, bro. So hopefully Canelo does look for the knockout, and I hope he can fight off a 250-pound clinch off of him. Because, yeah, bro, like I'm done with the misfits. But I'm going to say this. Canelo is capitalizing and maximizing his potential, announcing this fight before the Super Bowl. I'm sure there's going to be in a short advertisement or a billboard, Jake Paul versus Canelo on Netflix during the Super Bowl halftime show. I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm not even talking about that. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. And like I talked about in the first 10 minutes, Canelo's time is coming to an end. He knows there's not a lot of fighters left that he can really sell out a lot of fights. And he knows if he were to fight David Benavidez next and lose, this Jake Paul fight doesn't exist for him right now. If Canelo were to fight Bud Crawford and somehow Bud Crawford would beat Canelo, he's not able to maximize the Jake Paul money. If he were to fight the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev in the rematch, he's not going to be able to get Jake Paul. He's probably going to have to run it back 2 or 3 times with those fighters. Or he's going to leave a lot in himself in those fights to be victorious. Just like how he went 3 tough rounds versus James Kirkland, he's going to probably go 8 or 9 rounds with David Benavidez before him or David get knocked out. Same thing with Arthur. These are tough fights for Canelo. And Canelo coming close to 70 fights, a lot of wear and tear for his body. So he's like, bro, why wouldn't I take $100 million to fight a YouTuber who's getting better and progressing into his career? See, Canelo, 4 years ago, they asked him, would he be interested in fighting Jake Paul? And he goes, not right now. I'm not interested in that fight. I'm in my prime. I want to do these things. But he goes, maybe in the future. Now is the future. He understands and he respects Jake Paul's grind. It's not just a moment for him anymore. He's building his own little career. And Canelo respects it enough that, hey, now you got my attention. The money makes sense. Boom. Give me that 120 million. He ain't going to get 120 million. Yo, let me ask you, Adi, Mehdi, if you're still here, brother, do you know if this is a Riyadh season event? What if the money wasn't right with Bud Crawford and Canelo was like, watch me do my own thing with Jake Paul, Saudi Arabia, Turkey Al-Sheikh, and I don't need you. Do you guys know if this is a Turkey Al-Sheikh event, Riyadh season? Because I don't think Canelo needed Riyadh season for this fight for Jake Paul to negotiate and come to fruition. The Mexican G goes, man, shut your ass up. He needs to retire. You think so, bro? Like, I won't be sad if Canelo does retire, bro. He goes, Canelo is making the sport look like a circus. Now I understand why he gets no respect from the real Mexican legends like Juan Manuel Marquez. Damn. Damn, man. Man, like sometimes I'm perplexed, bro. Like that sentence, you wrote it so eloquently. Like, it's true. I can see that aspect of it. But at the same time, like, I can't really blame Canelo for doing this. Like, man. Yo, Speed, mic check real quick, brother. I know that you're in there, but if you want to say
Wow. Wow. Like, this is, man, homie Ricky, I don't know why I feel like this. I'm so overwhelmed, right? The breaking news, right? Right after we had a day and a half. Well, you know what? Before I get carried away. Okay. Good evening for to one and all. Good evening for to you, homie Ricky. Good evening for to Mr. Vince Vargas, Adi Medi, the Mexican Chi, El Pachuco, or anybody else that's out there right now. I haven't really had an opportunity to check up on the chatter for a couple of minutes because I was rushing to my office to go get my headset in order to go on this here live. I know it's a very late live. We apologize, of course, ladies and gentlemen, but this is very important news that has me acting quite giddy. And to tell you the honest truth, homie Ricky, I absolutely shouldn't be acting this way. I shouldn't be feeling in this way, right? But as Adi Medi was the first to report, if I'm not mistaken, right, just really a matter of minutes right after the news broke, it seems that Turkey Al-Sheikh along with his Riyadh season promotion, and Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, aka Canelo, have now agreed to a four-fight deal instead of a three-fight deal, which wasn't agreed upon contract between both the gentlemen. It has now been extended in a matter of hours into a four-fight deal that has had so much fallout, homie Wiki, so much fallout. And I was very excited initially during the day, right? Because of the fallout. There's so many things going on because of the announcement that Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, according to many different reporters, many different venues, very different, many different pundits, that apparently he had chosen Jake Paul to fight in May on Cinco de Mayo weekend, on May the 3rd to be exact, and no other place, homie, than in Netflix, right? Now, we're boxing hardcores, right? Um, whatever you want that to mean, go ahead and put whatever interpretation that means, right? But in my opinion, it just means we follow the sport of boxing religiously and we try and watch as many boxing fights as possible. It don't matter how much it's gonna cost us. It don't care how we're gonna get them, but we're gonna watch them, right? And we're gonna talk about them. But we just had a live, if I'm not mistaken, homie. Yesterday was it yesterday, maybe the day before, but we were very tough on Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, aka Canelo, if it turned out that the rumors that he had chosen to take on a very inexperienced fighter as Jake Paul, who in the eyes of many doesn't mean nothing in the sport of boxing. In fact, all they think of him, if at that, is a great promoter, right? When we addressed this possible fight, homie Ricky, I was still tentative and I was still holding back my opinion because I really didn't believe it. I really didn't believe that Canelo would lower himself in the standards of excellence to fight somebody so um, dismissed by real boxing fans, right? When we think of Jake Paul, we think of novelty fights. Mike Tyson showing his buttocks. Basketball players getting knocked out. 40-year-old MMA fighters.
Which basketball players getting knocked out? What are you talking about?
That was Jake Paul's second fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, when he fought Nate Robinson. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
Draymond Green and Jordan Poole for some reason.
No, no, hey, Draymond Green and Jake Paul would be a great fight. Hey, just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk about that. But what I mean to say, right? Boxing hardcores don't care for Jake Paul. Some of us see the potential in Jake Paul, but we want to say, okay, he's deserving of a Canelo fight. Oh, he's deserving of cutting the line. Oh, he's deserving of our time against a real boxer, right? No, no, no. None of us would ever say that. But the people that seem to say that are the fighters themselves, right? Just 2 days ago, homie Ricky, on Tuesday night in Country Box 24/7, a small little, you know, uh, saloon in Memphis, Tennessee, in Nashville, actually, in Nashville, Tennessee, where it's basically a bar and a saloon. They play a lot of country music, but then twice a month on a Tuesday, they hold boxing events. We had none other than Oliver McCall. Yes, Oliver McCall, the legendary heavyweight fighter. He was fighting at 59 years of age, guys, against a 40-year-old man. 59 years of age, just a few months shy of 60. And he, believe it or not, homie Ricky, he called out Jake Paul. So the fighters are the ones who want Jake Paul. We know that Matus Bradis called for a Jake Paul fight. We know that, these MMA fighters, bare knuckle fighters, they've Nate Diaz, they've all called for a Jake Paul fight. We never thought that fighters that are shoe and Hall of Famers, pound for pound fighters, active, dominant fighters, that Canelo would do the same thing, because they don't need to. They don't need that kind of attention, because they have the attention. They can do what they want in the sport, achieve greatness without having to kiss the ring, without having to bow down to the great white hype, right? And that's exactly what it seemed like Canelo was doing just a matter of days ago. We were very critical. We were very upset. I was still in a state of incredulity because I refused to believe that he would do that. And little by little, it started to trickle out, homie Ricky. It seemed that that is exactly what was going on. Canelo really had turned down a fight with Terence Bud Crawford, or at least extended it, right? Turned down a fight with William Scott to become a two-time undisputed at 168, or at least extended it, right? But now it seems that it was probably a power play, homie Ricky. It seems that Canelo will never relinquish his status to be at the top, to be told what to do and who to fight, even when he is promised multi-millions by one of the greatest movers and shakers in the sport of boxing, Mr. Turki Al Sheikh, His Excellency, even when they hold hands and embrace and they agree upon a three-fight contract, even then, Canelo still has to show him, along with the rest of the world, not just the boxing world, the rest of the world, that he will do whatever he wants and you will watch it. Homie Ricky, it doesn't take a genius to imagine that if Canelo Alvarez fought Jake Paul and Netflix, the one thing that would happen, homie, is that the servers would crash. Half of the world would not get to see that fight without buffering and stuttering and freezing, because everybody would be logging in to watch that event. A record breaking event like none other. I'm imagining hundreds of millions of people tuned into one event. The greatest Mexican boxer in all of history would have his moment to shine against one of the most important movers and shakers in the boxing influencer sphere, Jake Paul, where one of those guys would destroy each other. Indubitably, somebody would get dropped, somebody would get knocked out, one way or another. Canelo fighting a 200-pound man, or he blowing up in weight to fight that guy, a person that is obviously not even a tenth of his preparation, his skill set, or his experience. He would be fighting that guy, and somebody would get devastated and hurt, and somebody's career would be on the line. Canelo would never recover from this. Jake Paul, his career, the whole hype, would then and there be destroyed, homie. The biggest event that you can think of was just tickled into our mind by none other than Canelo. And it seems like all it did is mess with the mind of Turkey. And now Turkey had to rush in and hurry and scuttle, trying to reach out to this guy and say, no, 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 you can't fight him. No, 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 you can't fight him. I'll promise you a 4-fight deal. And now, homie Ricky, the world is asking, where are we now? Homie Ricky, let me ask you, in light of what just transpired about 15 minutes ago. Literally, news hot off the press. Do you know what the ramifications have been to the sport of boxing just in the past day? Do you know everything that's happened just because Canelo said he was going to fight Jake Paul?
Nah, man, not really. It just happened, man. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention too much. What's going on?
Okay, well, first off, you have to understand one thing, right? The three fight deal was not even supposed to start in May. So whatever Canelo
You
did in May,
said
that's
a
none of his.
four-fight deal.
Yeah. But there was originally a three-fight deal, homie. It was a three-fight deal, right? The first fight was supposed to be in September. I think at the September the 13th or something to that effect. Turkey Ali Sheik wanted Canelo to fight Terence Bud Crawford. Whatever happened in May, whatever Canelo chose to do in May, that was not part of the deal. That was none of Turkey's business. So whatever Canelo wanted to do, he could do. Everybody thought that it was going to be William School. Everybody thought that Canelo was going to try to get an easy touch fight before taking on one of the most masterful, dominant fighters in the sport, a two-time undisputed, undefeated fighter like Terence Bud Crawford. Everybody thought that that would be the logical next step, right? It was easy, but it really wouldn't show the power of Canelo to bring eyes and interest into the sport, right? Because who is the William Skull? Who is this Cuban expat who's living in Germany? Boy, he's absolutely nothing, homie Ricky. In the eyes of many, he is an undeserving champion. Nonetheless, he is a champion, right? But there was no interest in watching Canelo fight that guy, right? So who was Canelo gonna fight? Oh, would it be Christian and Billy, that miniature Mike Tyson at 168, undefeated fighter from Canada and Africa? Would that guy be the one to bring enough excitement into Canelo's next fight? Would it be Benavides? Oh, well, how would that happen, homie? How would that happen? Benavides just put up a hell of a display at 175 against another undefeated fighter that also put up a hell of a display. Both of them looking like whether you think they'll win or lose, they'll still step up to Bivol and Mitruviev, right? How are they gonna come back down to 168 when they're already making their own pathways into the sport? Is Canelo supposed to go up? There was so many questions for me, Ricky. So because there was so many questions, here's what happened. When the rumor, just the rumor, homie, just the rumor that Canelo was gonna fight Jake Paul in May, which had nothing to do, it had no effect, it shouldn't have had no effect on Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo in September. What happened was Turkey Ali Sheik became so very displeased at that notion that he ended up canceling Canelo and Terence Bud Crawford in September. Mind you, homie Ricky, it has nothing to do with it. He decided that he was going to move on from that fight, and instead, he was going to try to make a Terence Bud Crawford versus none other than Jerron Boots Ennis fight. Likely a fight that was going to drive Boots Ennis to 154 because Terence doesn't need to do anything, right? He still has to prepare himself at a heavier weight for a Canelo possible fight. So he said he was going to try and convince Boots and Terence to fight each other. In the meantime, right? For September. Now, of course, you got to understand one thing. Turkey comes a knocking to Jerron Boots Ennis, a fighter that was still thinking of going to 154 after he looked at lackluster at 147 against relatively unknown Karen Shakatsinian, right? A guy who he couldn't convincingly beat in two outings. Jerron Boots Ennis was gonna be rubbing his hands together like Birdman, licking his chops, thinking I can beat this 40 37-year-old man. I could beat this guy right here. He looked pretty booty. I'm fresh, 28. Oh, let me get that. Let me get that Turkey Ali Sheik money. Right? Okay, that's one fallout. Because guess what, homie Ricky? That was rumored just for a few hours. Now, with this four-fight deal, guess who's back for a September date? Maybe even a May date. Yup, Terrence Bud Crawford, right? So there's that fallout right there. There was Terrence Bud Crawford, who we all know, right? He's out the door. He's basically knocking out the door. He wants to cash out. He's just hoping to he can get a Canelo fight so he can walk off into the sunset, a multi millionaire, and maybe if he beats Canelo, a three-time undisputed, undefeated fighter, right? Likely the most accomplished fighter in history, besides, of course, Manny Pacquiao, right? But he would go down as a three-time undisputed, fighting some of the best names, including a shoe-in Hall of Famer with many pounds over him, and Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan. In lack of that, what were the rumors? That there was no fight left for Terrence Bud Crawford and he might retire. All of these things, homie Ricky, are all lining up because of Canelo's decision to fight Jake Paul. Terrence Bud Crawford may not have gotten a chance at Canelo and that big payday, that payday, when it was rumored that Canelo was taking on Jake Paul, right? And here's the thing, though, we all were following the words. We were all following Canelo and Jake Paul, seeing what they would post next. And what did Jake Paul say when everybody was saying that it was a done deal? Even Jake Paul himself said, this is what Jake Paul said: a source has advised me that my fight is now whatever I want it to be because I'm my source. You see, Jake Paul,
White.
contrary to what people believe, Jake Paul was the one who was actually saying there was no substance to the rumors that he was next with Canelo. While everybody else was reporting the opposite, Jake Paul was saying, nope, nope, you got to hear it from me. Nope, nope, my own advisor, his own attorney, right, was telling them there is no such thing. I don't care what I understand what Eddie Hearn said. Here's the thing: the lawyer for Jake Paul, Nakisa Badarian, quickly declined the reports in the interview that Eddie Hearn just had tonight, where he said Jake Paul and Canelo is next. They declined to verify it. They said not to listen to Eddie Hearn, and that the wild times when the media is running with a confirmation of a potential fight based on the words of a person who has nothing to do with the fight is what Jake Paul's lawyer said. When there is something to announce, we will announce it. No outside promoter has any accurate insights into these discussions. There were so many manipulations going on, homie Ricky. And it seems that the biggest and most manipulated individual in all of this may have been Turkey Ali Sheik, because now it seems Turkey Ali Sheik has extended the deal, has added another fight, bumped up the ante, and of course the payment that is coming the way of Canelo, because he did not want Jake Paul to get a fight at Canelo. Think about that, homie Ricky. You've accused You've accused Turkey Ali Sheik for having been the culprit to having started the whole Misfits brand. He validated them when he put on Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI in the ring. You said that that's the one thing that you always disagreed about Turkey, right? That you didn't trust him, I believe, is some of the words you stated. That you
Yeah.
didn't trust Turkey. Okay,
I still
I,
don't,
I
man.
okay, but I think it's safe to say, right, that he's redeemed himself. And Remember, I reported on that very nice episode that I made, that report of Turkey Ali Sheik about a year ago now, which I'm quite proud of, right? I reported uh, that Turkey Ali Sheik is against frivolous circus fights, that he is against that the sport of boxing requires the severity and the sanctity that it has held before, and that these fighters with their circus acts, they besmirch it. I reported on all of those things, and it seems that maybe in a desire to just get his hands into the sport in any way whatsoever, he may have sponsored a venture that a lot of people in the real boxing world don't respect, which is Misfits Boxing. I respect it. I appreciate it, right? But it seems that he's in agreement with you now, homie Ricky. He wants to make the sport of boxing great again, and he doesn't think Jake Paul is great, and thus he doesn't want Canelo to fight that guy, and he will do anything to make sure that fight isn't realized. I do not think, homie Ricky, Canelo Alvarez will be fighting Jake Paul,
Hmm.
only on account of what Turkey may have promised Canelo. You have to ask yourself, homie Ricky.
I think it's the other way around, actually. It's what he had promised Bud Crawford, and I think that's why Bud Crawford feels played a little bit.
And there is lots of truth to that, homie Ricky. You really hit it right on the nose, right? There's this thing about Turkey that really appreciates Terrence Bud Crawford. Like, he's just been wanting to be a savior, right? The disrespect and the lack of popularity and that Terrence Allen Crawford has been subjected to in the sport is something that he wants to correct. I get that. He's definitely on the side of Terrence Bud Crawford. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if he wants Terrence Bud Crawford to beat Canelo, right? But so in that sense, I think you're right, homie. But my goodness, it's just so incredible. It seems that Canelo just manipulated the emotions. Here's the thing, homie Ricky. Remember, I told you about Turkey. I told you I had a good feel about this guy. I told you he is the biggest casual fan of the sport, right? He is being manipulated like the biggest casual sport of the fight. The guy who shows up to every fight, puts up the big money. The casuals are the ones that we need in order to grow the sport. But because he's an ardent and die-hard fan of boxing, like a hardcore, he only wants to see the best fight the best. He thinks Terrence and Saul are the best, and he wants to make that happen for all intents and purposes, by all means necessary. He wants that fight to happen, homie, and he disdains Paul so much, and he doesn't want to risk anything happening between the fights and the plans that he has for all of these fighters. That I believe when the rumors come out, it's gonna be an unfathomable amount of money that is gonna be showering Canelo at the hands of the Saudi Arabian government. Homie Ricky, am I overhyping this, or is this a crazy going on right now? Is this incredible news?
Bro, I can't even listen to one more word that you're telling me, bro. The more you talk, bro, like the more I don't want to tune in, bro. Like, dude, come on, man. Let me read some of these comments. JD Spades is lurking says, Turkey Ali Sheik. Actually, let me scroll back a little higher. He goes, I guess you haven't heard. He states, Turkey Ali Sheik's new tweet. Turkey just announced that Canelo has a fourth deal with him. Further on goes on, Turkey has revealed a 4-fight deal between Canelo Alvarez and Riyadh season is done. Al Sheikh has also shared that the first fight will be held in Riyadh in May. Fight in Riyadh in May, the big fight in Las Vegas versus Terrence Crawford in September. Big fight in Riyadh in February 2026. And then the fourth final fight will be October in 2026. So it's a 4-fight deal with what JD Spades is reporting. And those 4 fights, Jake Paul, Bud Crawford, David Benavidez, And who knows? At least that's what we can assume, right? Because you got to ask yourself, what are the 4 fights that Canelo has left? It would be now Jake Paul, David Benavidez, Bud Crawford. These are the names that are always circulating around. Maybe William Skull. Who knows, man? But that's interesting news. Frank Espinoza says Team Crawford and Gaza are under investigation. Vince Vargas goes, investigation. Not too sure. I've never heard. I'm with Mexican Macho Man. It's been an incredible day of boxing news. Mexican Macho Man. That's you, bro. For your information, the ring has learned that Canelo's May return will not come against social media influencer Jake Paul, as widely reported in the media. See, I'm so confused. See, a lot of these things, man, kind of like we talked about it yesterday, kind of like smoke and mirrors. You know, it does make sense of the timing of the event, given that the Super Bowl is on Sunday. It would be the perfect time to announce Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul. I mean, that's as much as promotion that you can potentially get in a, I don't know, in a 30-second interview, commercial, snippet of a build-up of a fight right in the Super Bowl. 40 people, 40 million, 80 million, 60 million people are going to be watching it, going to be tuning in for the halftime show, and the list goes on. Let me scroll up a little further up to see which comments I have missed. Let's see. I think I read these. Canelo is making the sport look like a circus. Now I can understand why he gets no respect. We should all boycott Canelo fight. I'm not buying another Canelo fight as long as I'm alive, says the Mexican G. JD goes, man, stop lying. You're going to be watching Mexican G. You have people come over and off. You're going to be cooking carne asada. And then the Mexican G goes, no way. I stand on what I say. I stand on my principles. Look, man, the Mexican G is disgusted by these news. He further states that, I hope that Crawford knocks Canelo out if they fight. I despise Canelo after hearing these news. And I can't stand Crawford, but now I'm rooting for him. Oh, man, look, man. All I'm going to say is this. I'll be tuning in as long as it's on Netflix and it's free. I didn't really want to tune in Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I knew what was going to happen. But on the co-main event, we got the real fight. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. You mean to tell me, Mexican G, that if Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano trilogy is the co-main event, then you're not going to be tuning in for Canelo versus Jake? At least tune in, and when that main event starts, just turn the TV off and hit the gym. But you're not going to tune in for Amanda, Katie Taylor Part 3? Man, you lost your damn mind if you don't. You got to tune in, bro. Let's say, like, he goes, no. Man, bro, hey, I hear you, bro. I hear you, but I don't understand it, man. Like, cause sometimes, like I try to tell you, man, sometimes we gotta just enjoy things for what they are. We can't take life and ourselves too serious without laughing at ourselves and just be like, "Te crees mucho, güey." You know what I mean? Speed and Drew, they like boxing. They like talking about the sport of boxing. And like 2 years ago, they were like, hey, yo, Rick, start talking boxing again, man. It's built something. And for a long time, maybe like 7 years ago when I started, I was like, or maybe 12 years ago, but, I was like, nah, man, I'm taking myself way too serious. I'm reporting on news. I'm trying to win online arguments. I'm trying to be the smartest man in the room. And I'm just like, you know what, bro? Let me just watch the sport of boxing just as a fan. Sometimes I gotta watch the mismatches. Sometimes I gotta watch the hardcore, tough fights. Sometimes I gotta watch the fights that make the sport pure and honest and intentional. And you just gotta skim through, the fat, trim the fat off, and really just enjoy the real prime meat. You know what I mean? Yo, Drew, my check real quick, bro. You there?
Yo, what's up, man?
Yo, how you been, man?
Good, man. Just just working in the back scenes, man. I've been doing a lot of little side ventures, if you know what I mean.
Got you, man. You care to let us know what side adventures you're in?
Yeah, man. I just launched this website for I'm selling some t-shirts. I got a lot of designs that I'm actually working on as well. But I just wanted to launch this website because I finally found my niche, and I finally found like not my actual niche. This is actually more of like a side thing, just testing things out, and people like it, then they like it. But these shirts that I made, I personally like it, So and I'm only learning, I'm only learning, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. And they're like Devin Haney, Tank Davis, and Shakur Stevenson shirts. Um, I can actually post it on the chat right now. That way you guys can check it out. I'm still working on marketing, so um, I'm still trying to lay things out, and I might just do what you were suggesting and working on talent around like Selena's, you
Yeah,
know,
sure.
and just kind of see if they're interested in these shirts, then that's okay. But that's a good. Now that I know how to work with this, I'm gonna see what's up with the local talent, So we'll see, man.
Yeah, man, that's the best way that I would approach it, man. It's first local. It's like if you were to run a restaurant, right? You don't try to go and land in San Francisco. You don't go to the heart of LA or the big cities in Chicago. No, you start off small. And if your local people mess with it, then you're like, okay, I got the secret sauce. And then you slowly try to branch off or maybe try to go global or whatever the case may be. But that's a long process. You first got to stay within your bubble, within the people that are reachable, approachable, and they're looking to network with you. If you start off big and be like, you know what, I'm gonna open up a big ass store rather than just start out in your own little garage, you're setting
Mhm.
yourself up for failure. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates in their garage, penny stocks, and boom. You don't go, oh, I'm gonna open up a store. Nah, bro. It's not even working out for the big retailers like Macy's. So think about it from that grand scope of things, and then start smaller in terms of the people that are approachable. So you got the idea how to cater to make Tank, Devin, and Shakur shirts, but you gotta first start local. If you can't build a local fighter, then why would I think that you can build and hone the skills of already a great champion and make them even greater? You get what I'm saying? So you can't tell me that like Eddie Reynoso. Anyway, but I get what you're saying, bro. If you can leave some shirts or link it to
And
some
this,
things
and
in the
thi-
chat, feel free. Adimeri goes, all the
yeah.
white boys at work asking me, oh my God, have you seen Canelo is fighting Jake Paul news? And I respond, oh, you mean Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan? Yo, Speed, that's a one for you right there, man. Hey, you there? Speed.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was reading that. I look, that's exactly how we should address Canelo. If you know Canelo as Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, then you are a hardcore boxing fan, guys. If you know Terrence Allen, Buddy Crawford, just call him Allen Crawford, then you know you're a hardcore boxing fan. That's exactly how you should get him, Matty. A good even fall to you, Addy Matty. Good even fall to Lights Out Sal. Good even fall to you, J Space is lurking. And of course, New Country just hopped on. New Country, good even fall to you. Dream, look, listen, man. Look,
Hey, he's gonna
okay,
say those
no,
shirts suck.
no, I'm not. No, 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 no. I have to apologize to you, right? You had a very good feel about what was going on between these rumors between the Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan and Jacob Paul.
Oh, you want
I
me to
was
tell you why?
very,
Because of the
yeah, yeah.
sources.
But first, I'm trying to
The
apologize over here,
sources.
bro.
Okay.
Now he's interrupting me. Okay, you can apologize. So you were right, right? I believed that Canelo was better than that. I
Mhm.
believed that
Sorry, go ahead.
Canelo would never lower himself to the shenanigans, the tomfoolery, right? I never thought that Canelo would even ponder a fight just for lucre, just for money, with someone as inexperienced and as circus act, as corny as Jacob Paul. It turns out that you were more right than I was. Your ideas and your rumor mill access was correct. There actually was rumors, and in fact, almost agreed upon contracts, so involved, so
Yeah.
advanced that even reputable sources like Eddie Hearn
That's
came
not
out
even,
just today to
but
say that.
that's like that's coming from the like from the straight from the cow, like cow's mouth. Like it's coming straight from him though. Like
From
he's
who?
not even I mean, he's not even considered like a source. Like he's actually like the confirmation guy, but
Mhm.
it's like I seen it all along because dude, Turkey, I didn't see it coming actually all along. I'm actually really disappointed in Canelo. But
Yeah, yeah.
when I first heard about it and who it was coming from, it was coming from Ring Magazine. Who owns Ring Magazine? It's
Turkey at a
Turkey.
chic.
Dude, why would he spill the beans like this? He's just playing with puppets right now. That's what he's doing.
Mhm.
And he's dude,
Mhm.
he's actually he coming out, he's saying, "Oh, it's over now. The conversations are over now between Canelo and Crawford." And it's like it's Turkey saying this because it's coming from his profile. And then not only this, right? And this is another thing. I've been through waves of rumors, with the fake Benavides Canelo fight, hopefully going down, and I've heard of other rumors as well, and they usually come from sources that are really like iffy and they're not really trustable, you know. Like, and you see all these like, and there'll be like 5,000 to like 10,000 followers, right? With these sources, that's not good enough to me. You got to be like 100,000, and I can tell if they're actual followers, and if they're not actually bought, like followers that are bought, just because they might have a lot of professional fighters following them back and stuff like that. But there's actually a trend. There's actually a trend when you see the real news. You'll see the real legit outlets, um, announce it, and then obviously the fake, I call them fake, but sometimes they'll actually tell the truth, and they'll actually piggyback with them and announce it with them, and they'll post it. And I'm only saying this because I post a lot as well, and I peep, I'm pretty sure a lot of these pages have heard of us because I'm always in their faces, and I'm adding to my story, and I'm sharing what they're sharing, so I see the trends, and I see the bullshitters, and I see the wannabes, kind of, in a sense. I'm like, if I get to know a guy, in like, and I can have less than 100 followers. Say I get my uncle to uh he magically gives me one of the top ranked numbers. The guy's in there, he gives me his number, and he'll give me all the spiel, and he'll tell me all the news and who's talking to who. And next thing you know, I'm posting about it. Somebody's like, how does this fucker know? Like, somebody out there knows what I know, and you're gonna be like, okay, this guy knows that my guy. And little by little, people will tell that I'm actually legit. So that's what's going on behind the scenes, and I could actually tell who knows who, and who actually knows actually the person that's in negotiations with all that. So
No,
that's
no, that's one thing that I do concede to you, right? You have a very good feel about the rumor mill. That's what I stated. It's just that here's the thing: you have to understand my skepticism, right? This is the
it's
sport
healthy.
where
It's healthy.
every well, it's not necessarily healthy to just continue to mull over the rumors, right? Because the sport is all about rumors. The sport is all about call outs. The sport is all about, this person said this about that one, this rumor that took place in the sparring session. This guy hurt this guy, all these things, right? David Benavides is fighting this guy next, he's stuck in this guy. All it is rumors, right? So a person like me is very skeptical, and we apply what is called Dan Bongino rule, which is we wait for a rumor to develop its legs, get running for 3 days, and those 3 days or so, we get a good feel whether there's been this said or that said. If there's some substance behind it, then I feel more comfortable reporting it, right? Because it turned out to be not only a rumor, it turned out to have some legs behind it, some validity, and therefore we can address it, right? When we report things just on a whim, without thinking, just because it's a rumor, we can misreport, we can misrepresent the facts, right? So if we're gonna do that, I prefer to get my ideas, my opinions from the people that are involved. Like, for
Yeah.
example, if Jake Paul stated, yes, I'm fighting Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan on the 3rd of May, and if Canelo stated, yes, I am fighting Jake Paul, then I'm not going to question it. If it comes from their X or the Twitter or their IG, if they say that, I'm not going to question it.
Th-
When Eddie Hearn says it, it's as close to Canelo, it's as close as Jake Paul as it gets,
and
right?
this is the thing too. This is a belt organization announcing things and saying that there's rumors. WBC, WBA, IBF, they're not saying, well, there's talks about this fight going on. Like, they don't really like talk like this. That's how you know Turkey is managing this profile, not probably in like directly, but like this dude's actually going for guys like Tyson Fury to beat Usyk, and he's open about it, and it's shocking everyone, and with the ringside page, it's like, who posts like this? I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I mean, this guy could almost do anything, and you can tell with the ring magazine, it's like you are literally the organization belt holder, like the person who tells the boxer that you are the man, of your division, and it's coming straight from their social media account, you know, and that's how I know it's like you guys are just like playing with people's emotions, and I see what you guys are doing, and they're probably trying to gauge. They probably want to gauge, and they want to see if Jake Paul, uh, it over it outshines Crawford, and they probably seen that, and they said, "Nah, we gotta create a build up for this fight. We gotta make sure it comes out of nowhere." Even though people like me are already suspecting that September fight is already locked in. It's locked in already. Like,
Look,
that's the thing. It's locked in already, but they would just want to create suspense and
you're
for
talking
risk.
about
All right, hold
you're
on, hold
talking
on.
about
But
September
Come on.
Canelo versus Bud, right?
yeah.
Wait. You guys are getting too much into this, like too much details, man. Let's keep it
Oh, too
simple.
many details now.
Can Canelo be the guy to knock out Jake Paul? Because the reason why this fight
No,
is happening,
no.
no. Check this out. The reason why this fight is happening is because Mike Tyson couldn't knock out Jake Paul. It's because Nate Diaz, an MMA fighter, Tyron Woodley, they couldn't knock out Jake Paul and stop the hype train. So it takes a bona fide, legitimate pound for pound fighter, the best that we can offer in Canelo Alvarez. It takes him, Canelo, to destroy Jake Paul. Let me ask you guys this. Can Canelo destroy Jake Paul, or will he pull a Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou? Because the
Well,
fattest man in the planet couldn't do it. The guy who choked out Conor McGregor, Nate, he couldn't get the job done.
Look,
The guy looked stupid.
look, if
Tyron Woodley got slept. Mike Tyson, he couldn't even land a punch.
look,
So you mean to tell me, and Tommy Fury, he outboxed Jake to a decision. Wow, congratulations. You can outbox him.
okay, look,
And you
okay.
knock him
hold
out.
on. Hold on.
Can
If
Canelo
if
knock out this
okay, go ahead.
250-pound, you know what I mean? Can he do it?
if Jake
Yeah.
Paul if Jake Paul manages to get you to a talking point, to ask yourself, is he gonna give Canelo a hard time? Then he got you. This is a bad. That's why I care more about like the rumors and how things are ran, because I see the bullshit that I see through through all this bullshit, But to answer that question, hey, yeah, he's gonna. I hope he gives him a hard time, you know, um, because Canelo's gonna, probably play with him and then play with all of our emotions and just let him go to the decision so he can continue to sell out crowds, So, and maybe he might just, because I think once he knocks out, that ends his story. He can't sell as good. He
Or do you think is it going to bring legitimacy to his career? He's like, bro,
ah,
I was able to
yeah.
fight
If
Canelo
he,
out. Like, it's not a lose-lose situation with Jake Paul.
it's
No.
not, but it loses credibility a little bit.
Like, let me ask you this: when Francis Ngannou, I thought Francis Ngannou beat Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
So when I say if Fury's gonna pull a Tyson, if Canelo's gonna pull a Tyson Fury, what I mean by is he gonna have trouble and go the distance when we're expecting an early round knockout like
Yeah, I
Josh
can't.
did to
Yeah,
Francis?
Oh,
I could
even
see him going the distance.
but
Yeah,
even but
You
nah,
can
even
see
if
him going. That
I
would be a
can't.
loss to boxing. That would be a loss to
I
Canelo.
can.
yeah, but you
I know
gotta
if I can't.
understand why, homie.
I
The
know I
guy is
can't.
gonna
But I
waste so much more than Canelo. He's rangier, and all he has to do is go on the back foot.
but
That's
even
all he
then
has
I
to do.
can't. But even then I can't trust the event. I don't know if it's fake or real. And it's like I don't even want to ride that roller coaster. It's like you're not even a real fighter. Like
And
I
not
don't
only
like
that,
I
I
don't
don't
think
even
it's a
know
real
if it's a
fight.
real event if you're paying a fighter 100 million. I'm
I don't
sure
think
that
it
comes with some type of stipulations.
I don't think it's a real fight. And that's why like I'm
Wait,
not
wait,
gonna
wait,
ride that.
wait, wait. What do you mean by not a real fight? You mean not like a sanctioned fight? The belts are not on the line.
Oh, I
Obviously,
don't
they're not
know.
going to be on the line.
I don't know. I don't know about sanctioned or whatever, like all those like details, but like I just know this guy's setting up his fights. There's no way in hell.
You
You
mean
are not treating your
Jake
body
Paul?
like a boxer. Jake Paul is trying to bench 3 plates, trying to look like a bodybuilder. You are too
Mm,
slow to be a competitive in boxing. You are not treating your body like a boxer. He's just this is his story, and he wants to not get knocked out so he can continue to sell out. And more power
yeah.
to him. But I'm not gonna
Okay.
ride this roller coaster and ask myself, is he gonna go the distance? It's like it's gonna be a setup. I don't know. It's like it's a story.
Whoa,
It's
whoa, whoa! I think you're making it
I'm
worse.
playing
You're saying that
I'm being
Jake Paul is
pessimistic.
gonna not only pessimistic. I think you're being illogical. Are you trying to accuse Canelo of studying out his booty?
Yeah. Yep. Like I think he's not selling it out. I think he's just playing his game and he's just gonna
He's
secure
gonna
that
let Jake Paul survive.
I don't know. And I can't trust it because it's gonna
Okay,
be a
look.
script. I don't know what the
First
script
off,
is.
we don't have to go there, right? Because on the Ring magazine, on the IG, it was reported and confirmed that Canelo and Crawford, their deal is off, right? This was just a few hours ago. Then, of course, Jake Paul and Canelo is now officially off. News that
Oh, it is?
the 3 fight deal, yeah, it's announced in the Ring magazine. This is
Oh,
exactly what it says.
let me see.
Canelo and wait. Let me see. Let me go back. Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul fight is now off.
Oh
Right. This
well,
is really just reported 27 minutes ago.
dang.
27 minutes ago. And 9 minutes ago, check this out. Canelo and Crawford react to Alvarez's Riyadh season deal. Wow. Now Canelo and Crawford are reacting to the new deal. Both of them are now reacting. All of
To
these
the,
things are being on the news. So whatever those things are, whatever it is that they're reacting to, this is really it's not happening, guys. Jake Paul and Canelo are apparently not happening, and there is another fight that will substitute the May 3rd appointment for Canelo, and it won't be Jake Paul. Now, I think it's safe to say that we don't have to waste no more time thinking about about Jake Paul, right?
thank God.
But well, okay, let's just ask that question, right, homie? You asked, what was your question? Can Canelo beat Jake Paul or knock him out or something like that? Look, I could see Canelo going to the body, right, and doubling Paul forward, bringing him down in height, and then just maybe getting him with a good uppercut. I could see that. I could
Yeah, I
see
just
him really hurting Jake Paul, but I can also see, guys, I really could see a 200-pound Jake Paul, right, blowing up to whatever weights he wants to, because the thing that they were going to agree upon was 200 pounds, right? Or they were going to be a cruiserweight. I know Jake Paul could blow up. We know Canelo does not knock out everybody over 168, right? He couldn't knock out Munguia. He couldn't knock out Berlanga. He could drop him. He wasn't able to penetrate effectively the guard of Bivol. He was struggling with Kovalev, and those guys are at 175 guys, right? And I'm sure that he had a couple of weight rehydration clauses to fight at least Kovalev, but a 200 just minus 200-pound Jake Paul, who's quite rangy, guys. His range is quite big, and he's taller than Canelo. He can survive if he wants to, right? And he can blow up quite significantly, right? If he should fight that guy, I could see Canelo struggling to take him out. Not necessarily not that he'll lose to the guy. I'm just saying to knock out Jake Paul, really? It's not going to be easy just because he sucks, guys. He's not a
Yeah.
bad fighter, you know?
Well, it's just I don't see his body melting down. He is going opposite. He is getting buffer, and he's doing it to look appealing to the audience, and that's okay, you know. But you do not you do like there's no heavyweights that bench 3 plates. I mean, maybe here and there, like Big Bang Zang, maybe I don't know, but like that's a mammoth of a man. Like Jake Paul is not working out like a boxer, and he, but you can treat your body, like you can maybe throw a jab correctly, but you're gonna see how slow your muscles are making you. And if you're not trying to be the best, then I don't care, because you are like there's no way in hell you didn't not knock out Mike Tyson, you know. It's just I don't trust him. I don't trust his events. As a speculative thing. Like I'm not gonna be a sucker to it. So I'm glad that that's not happening. Because
Oh God, don't
it's
start
true.
rumor. Look,
Well,
this
there's a
guy's
thing
starting
though because
rumors.
oh my bad. I'm glad it might not happen. Maybe so
Yeah, yeah.
if it does, then I don't like I'll be there to watch it for the undercard. But I just don't trust it because
Mhm.
this is just taken away from like the real. I mean, I guess it's putting more line. I guess depends on the undercard. It's like all right, cool. Like this one, if it gave me a Boots versus like magically if Boots fought like Crawford, that would be crazy. But on that undercard, but he's something that would shock me. I'd be like, oh, you know what? They gave me this fight, so okay, I'll take it. But um, it's just I'm not gonna sit here and ask myself if Paul is gonna get knocked out because that's what I'm thinking right now. He would get knocked out because he would actually be scared. There's a fear factor in him now. If he's actually in a real fight with Canelo, anybody would be scared, especially if you like. There's no way. I don't think like I don't know. I don't know. It's just I wouldn't trust
Look,
him.
let's just go through some of
Comments.
well, yeah, let's read through the comments. Actually, I was gonna just give you a quick rundown of the emotional roller coaster that we were just
Mm.
subjected to today. Eddie Medi, ever the astute uh, chronicler of the sport of boxing, he says, "Man, we just barely started 2025, and there's already been 18 fights canceled so
Crazy.
far."
I
Right,
want
and
to
I
see
was
that
like, "What are you
list.
talking about?" And he named them right off the bat.
Wow, he
First
did.
off, he says, "From now on, we should start addressing fighters by their full names." Have you
Mm.
ever seen Dennis Yurojovic fight? Dream?
No, some of these actually got to be finalized and canceled to be considered like called off. I guess, but I guess so.
Yeah, but have you ever heard of Dennis Yurodovic?
Sounds familiar. The
What about
Dennis.
Daniel Webster?
Yeah,
Who's Daniel Webster?
Daniel Webster's like a 126 pounder, isn't he?
Oh, he
From
goes by another
PQ.
name. He goes by another name at 135 by Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn
Oh,
Davis's
my
real
bad.
name is Keyshawn Daniel Webster Davis.
Yeah, no, I seen that. I seen that. I seen that somewhere. I was like, that is a Weber. It's Weber's because either I just know like last names, and
Mhm.
sometimes if it comes across, I'll be like, well, no, that sounds like I think that's like a 126 pounder.
Check out all the fights that have been canceled so far. I asked him, "What are you talking about? Like which ones?" And he said, "Give me a second." And he took like 5 seconds. Jerron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Jayo Pataya versus Husseini Sin Cara, Tommy Fury, Darren Till, Teofimo Lopez,
Mm.
Subriel Matias, Naoya Inoue, Sam Goodman, Ruben Aguilar, Christian Baez, Sebastian Fedora, Errol Spence, Vidal Riley, Isaac Chamberlain, Olaje Olatunje versus Wayne Bridge, Hector Valdez, Franklin Gonzalez, Johanler Martinez, Jonas Sylvain, Lester Martinez, Joe Sean James, Woody Hutchinson, Zach Parker, Oscar Duarte, Regis
Oh,
Progra, Canelo Alvarez, Crawford, Bakudir Jalalov versus David Spilmont, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he mentioned another one there, but I couldn't read it. But nonetheless, that's 18.
I said
And
big.
of course, Canelo and Jake Paul,
Read my last
and of
one.
course, Terence Bud Crawford and Jerron Boots.
Read
Man,
that
there's.
last comment.
Let me see the last comment. Big Bang versus Bacoli.
Yep. Remember that one
It
got
just got
canceled
can.
too?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a huge one too.
Yeah.
Wow, it is. But you know what, guys? Yeah, that's pretty bad. I
Yeah.
was trying to
Yeah.
put a positive spin to it, Dream.
It's just I honestly I feel like uh if you want to name like a list, I think there's so many more that were just like in talks and then just never happened. You never went to fruition and stuff like that. Like I think I can name a lot more, that were like that at least mixed in with the rumors,
Well, Eddie Hearn mentioned one today. Sugar Nunez versus Kakashi, who Kakashi
Mm,
decided to relinquish this 130 belt, who he just beat. He ended up beating the guy who's on fire. What's his name? Joe Cordina.
mm.
He ended up beating him, and he got his belt at 130, and all of a sudden he just relinquished it for no reason, instead of unifying against Sugar Nunez, or at least getting that guy a shot. Whatever. New Country says he ain't putting the Francis Ngannou. Ricky, come on, talking about Jake Paul versus
Oh, I
Canelo,
know.
right? Not really, because most lose to Canelo. It's not an embarrassing loss for Jake Paul, right?
Well, yeah,
Because
but he's saying,
again, it's what is he? It's like this, right? It's like the same situation as Terence Bud Crawford. If Terence Bud Crawford was to lose against Canelo, it's not an embarrassing loss, because he would be going up basically two weight divisions from where he's at right now at 154, a division where he looked lackluster and where I believe he lost to Israel Madrimov, right? Or maybe at most had a draw. So it would not have been an embarrassing loss for Jake Paul to lose to a shoe in Hall of Famer, undisputed fighter like Canelo. So yeah, that's absolutely an agreeable thing. There would not have been a major loss for Jake Paul should he lose to the guy. Besides, he already lost to a fighter like Tommy Fury. So why would we expect him to win and not lose against Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, right? But it is a big time, a detrimental setback to the career of Alvarez, and even to his legacy, if the unbelievable happens, which is that Jake Paul would hurt and or beat Canelo. New Country goes on and says, to put it in Ricky's words, he can be elite in the way he loses. Sorry, Ricky, I couldn't resist. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's elite. Like Devin Haney lost to Lomachenko, or I mean, Lomachenko lost to Devin Haney. It was an elite loss, right? It's a loss. It loss. Just because you lose, it doesn't make you non-elite. That just makes you a loser. But I think maybe that's what he's getting at. Eddie Medi says, I just realized Canelo versus Jake Paul was called off too, as of 20 minutes ago, and he thinks it's going to be William Scott, the guy who he fights in May. Um,
Mm.
Eddie showed up to Benavides versus Moroy. Yeah, I heard about that. Nothing really came out of it, right? Turkey is playing Me Pongo Belicon, an SIG story with a picture of Canelo Me Pongo Belicon.
Mhm.
Big Bang versus, okay. Then all the Ryan Garcia, Haney, Theo Boo speculations also. Yep, other constellations. They were playing with our emotions. Absolutely, Adi Medi. Absolutely, they were. And Olache Ulatunye, which I believe is actually KSI, right? By the way, in case y'all didn't know, because I didn't know. Yeah, that's his real name. Olatunje is KSI, if I'm not mistaken. Dream, let me just give you a quick recap and tell me if you don't think this feels like an emotional roller coaster, right? Okay, just a couple of days ago, it was announced that Turkey Al Sheikh and Canelo had agreed to a very lucrative three-fight deal that was supposed to commence in September. The first fight of which supposed to be Allen Bud Crawford, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Then just the next day over or two, Canelo starts spreading rumors that he's gonna accept the Jake Paul fight. You're one of the first to report it. I can't believe it. I discredit you. You're absolutely right. These rumors
Mhm.
actually had some substance. Then it turned out that I was right. At the end of the day, they're not fighting, but doesn't really matter. That's one of the things. In light and in the wake of those rumors, Turkey Ali Sheikh decided to ponder a Terence Bud Crawford versus Joan Boots Ennis fight, right? Just for a couple of hours, right? Now, Turkey Ali Sheikh will try to make Terence Crawford and Joan Ennis later this year. Now that Canelo is a DOA. Canelo versus Crawford is dead on arrival. Turkey Ali Sheikh offered Canelo a three-fight deal that would have started with Crawford about in September, but of course now he said I'm going to start working on making that possible fight in September between Crawford and Boots, right?
Mm.
He said that. Then we go on, and somebody says that Canelo is playing hardball and playing with the emotions. And check this out, the people that cap. There's this Mexican channel on Twitter, whatever. It's called Boxing FOTY. He says, quick throwback to Turkey hating on Canelo. I think Turkey is just mad he can't control Canelo, and he knows Canelo will make the same amount of money fighting whoever he chooses. Viva Mexico, cabrones. And he posts this X message that became very famous when Turkey Sheik and Canelo were fighting. He says, I heard that Canelo said he respects me, but he doesn't like the way we do business. As far as him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or doesn't. As for the way I do business, I know why he doesn't like it. It's because I only target big fights at fair prices. So, of course, anyone who likes to take easy fights won't like that. Listen to what Turkey is saying. He says that Canelo is used to taking easy fights. He goes on and says the following. He was wasting our time and making excuses with big amounts of money that can't be paid when talking about trying to take on Benavides or Crawford, right? And he ends it by saying, so I'm continuing my way to make big fights that serve the boxing world, and he's on his way to making easy show only fights. This Mexican Twitter guy, right? He's proud that Canelo won up Turkey without even realizing that Turkey was just trying to make the fights that we all wanted, right? I mean, maybe not so much in the case of Crawford, but we all wanted David Benavides versus Canelo. And this guy is so proud of Canelo for not bending down to Turkey Alishim's whims. And he says, Viva Mexico, cabrones. Canelo will call the shots, right? And he proves he proves Turkey Ali Sheik right. Turkey Ali Sheik says Canelo will avoid the big fights that the boxing world wants to see, and he will only make easy show only fights. Guess what? Dream. Jake Paul and Canelo would have been a show only fight. Turkey Ali Sheik is right, and people want him to lose in order for Canelo to win. But if Canelo gets his way, guys, especially the way he's talking now, we're never going to get the fights that we want. Not even Terence Bud Crawford, which is a fight that some people want, right? We wouldn't even get that. Now, Turkey Ali Sheik gets so upset that he is going to fight Jake Paul in May, which it had nothing to do with his contract, anyways. So he decides to pressure Canelo and offer him another fight, four-fight deal with even more money. And now Canelo says, okay, Turkey, then I won't fight Jake Paul. Now, people think Turkey came out on top, right? Because at the end, he got his contract, and he actually got Canelo to sign for his fights, whatever he wants to fight for longer. But Canelo may have been manipulating the boxing world all this time. Canelo may have had a read on Turkey and what he really wants, that he may have just played with his emotions, like the biggest boxing hardcore in the world. Dream, let me ask you something. Is Canelo a genius or is Turkey a genius?
Dude, my bad, dude. I was talking without the freaking. I was on mute, but I think they're both Uh, I think they're both geniuses in a sense. Not geniuses. They just don't care about like what people think. They're both really wealthy. And they know they're gonna show up when the Canelo fights Crawford.
Hmm.
Um, and they know Canelo knows his value.
Hmm.
I do think he's been looking at Jake Paul, but I think what's his name? Turkey's actually like on the same page as Canelo. He's like, you know what? Even if they catch on, I'm gonna just plead the fifth, and I'm gonna just say fight off, and I'm gonna say fight on when it fights on, like um, and he's gonna do it to whatever benefits him, because has us questioning and he has us running laps, and I think this is what he wants. I think
Hmm.
this is how he, you know, market manipulation. I don't know. This is how you kind of mess with the minds, a little bit at least, just because I'm still leaning towards like, that, Crawford Canelo fight happening.
Hmm.
And I gotta like get myself back on track because I still don't want this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I still want, I have to keep saying it here and there. Like I still want Crawford to, you know, taper, taper into his weight classes and actually, spend a solid amount of time in each weight class, little by little. I'll be patient, you know, until you fight Canelo. It's like Canelo's gonna fight until he's 38. Yeah, 38, he says. How much more weight classes can he go up? I think he's done. So it's
Yeah, I
like,
think
dude,
he's
just
done.
so it's one of those things. Just move up and create your own path. You just like, try to build another, like, see what other names come up, but I still don't want this. I still uh don't like this fight. I mean, I'll take it though. But
So, what should Terence Crawford do in the meantime? I mean, the whole speculation, right, is that Canelo and Terence Bud Crawford is now set again for September, unless with the whole rearrangement and extension of a 4-fight deal from a 3-fight deal, that maybe Turkey Alishi can convince Canelo to take Terence Bud Crawford in May instead. But I don't think so, right? Because again, here's the thing, right? If Canelo should lose to Terence Bud Crawford, right? I mean, more impossible things have happened. But if he should lose to that guy, then the other 3 fights remaining will lose their appeal, will lose their value immediately, right? Because it really would set back Canelo's legacy. It would really, like, I think the Mexican chief just mentioned, it would be a black eye for the sport that is much smaller, less accomplished fighter. I mean, less experienced fighter like Crawford would beat somebody like Canelo, who's 2 divisions higher from where he's at right now, right? But it's like now that that fight seems like it'll be in September, isn't that pushing off and delaying the career of Terence Bud Crawford, thus making him easier to beat by the time that he fights him? We know that Terence Bud Crawford is a 1 fight a year kind of guy. He's been like that for 6 years, but he's only getting older. Can Terence Bud Crawford take on a fight in the meantime? And if so, would you have been content if he ended up fighting somebody like Butsenis, a fighter that last fought at 147, that he also looked lackluster, where Terence Bud Crawford fought at 154 and he also looked mediocre. So bringing up a guy that's looking mediocre, that's still relatively lighter than him, that would have been a perfect fight, in my opinion, for May, right? Maybe even on the Canelo versus whoever undercard. Wouldn't that be a good fight?
yeah, I mean, that's what we all wanted initially. That's what made sense for boxing, was that Boots Ennis fight at 147, and me reaching at 154. Um so yeah, I think there was just way too much smoke at 154, but they're trying to make this fight look appealing, and they're trying to, get Crawford to get a belt so it won't, you know, I guess damage control in a sense. They're just trying to uh, make it look good on paper and say, hey, this is a 160-pound champ right here. He's only moving up one division now. Not that bad, isn't it? But it's like, dude, uh, you need to be fighting more. You need to be more consistent. It's just this is how the boxing game is. But I think like I keep getting conditioned, and that's the thing. I keep getting conditioned because this guy's because plans are changing like today, and it's conditioning us to think a certain way. And now we're like, okay, now we're going back on track. Now we're not, so it's like it's all over the place. But I think with Crawford, with the the options that he has, I guess at 160 it would William Skull, if you were to get one belt, it will make that Canelo fight not look as bad,
You mean
you
at
know
168?
Yeah, 168, yeah, because then
Yeah.
he would say, "Yeah, I'm only moving up one division." And he's like I said, he's 154. He's not skipping a division technically,
Mhm.
So um, I'm only saying technically because it's just on paper that's what he did, but it's like you're not, you know, spending the time and you're not putting in the training camps at that weight class. Because I think that's where your fighters are built is during those training camps and where
Mhm.
they, gain all that like really all that dense, all that lean muscle, you know, that's just muscle. You know, it's not like someone that just had a little pump up, like a little chest pump. It's like solid muscle, and that's what Crawford is. But little by little, the more weight you lift, you're slowly uh, drifting away from the sport, and that's a fact. And that's why I say Jake Paul is drifting away from the sport if he's actually taking this thing serious because you're lifting too much weight, you know. Um, so yeah, and that's why Crawford has a good chance of beating Canelo, and because of his boxing ability.
Mhm.
And he's like he's tuned up, like he has a good jab. Um, and it's a sport at the end of the day, but there's size matters,
Dream,
yeah.
do you know that Benavides Sr. offered to train Jake Paul to fight Canelo?
I mean, yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
I'm telling you, look, why does it seem that only the boxing fans are the ones that don't want these guys to happen? But all the insiders, all the real reporters, the fighters themselves, they all want a piece of that Jake Paul
it
Canelo
just
action.
it's just not like because they that's a walking bag right there, man. And he's not he's and this is the thing too though. Like from a moral standpoint, he's not he's not he's easy to he's likable dude, and he's probably easy to work with, and he's really generous with his payouts, So
Who?
it's like Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Jake Paul had what's his name? Uh I forgot his name. We've seen him in Vegas. Jay Leon Love. He had
Mhm.
Jay Leon Love as a coach. It's like Jay Leon Love is a a former professional fighter, and he just decided to make him a coach. And he probably, did him a favor. Like I'm pretty sure he knows his stuff, But Jake Paul um, picked somebody randomly in a sense and get this dude a lot of money, which is a blessing, you know. Which is cool, So it's like, yeah, Jose Benavides, I would pitch that to him too, And what's his name? Actually, he actually has a gym in Miami, so that's probably why he's offering because they're right there, and that's actually he actually visits the gym a lot, that gym,
Yeah.
because I seen a video of Benavides sparring Andre Durrell, and he was present to that. So that's how
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Eddie Meddy reminds us, he says, let me remind you guys that less than 3 months ago, Artur Beterbiev called out Jake Paul, and everyone wanted to see it. I would absolutely pay to see Beterbiev drop the hammer and Jake. So why
And
is Canelo, right,
yeah,
any different? Mexican Cheese says, I think we should close chapter in Jake Paul. He already lost to Tommy Fury, a part-time boxer, right?
And that and the problem is that he once he gets knocked out, his book is over. His story is over. And that's what he fears. He fears not being able to sell again because of the outcome of his previous fight. And that's just how boxing is. And you can do that with Jake Paul as well. It's like he lost already, but we haven't seen him uh you know uh get put that same like we haven't seen someone put all that damage onto him or actually make it look like he gets knocked out. He doesn't want to make the public make it seem like, you know, he's actually like destroyed, like so many. He doesn't want to get destroyed. He just wants to get he's okay, probably okay with getting beat by a legend. Imagine if he goes a distance with Canelo. Canelo manages to carry him for I don't know how many rounds. That's a big bag for Jake Paul's next fight, you know. Because boom, guess who else can fight him now? All the guys that went the distance with him, with Canelo, the Berlangas, like it just justifies that to the eyes of the public, and it doesn't to me, obviously, because he's just a show, So it's just, um, yeah, like it's just,
Dream,
yeah.
can you imagine Canelo and Jake Paul on Netflix?
That's
It
where I
would have
wanted it.
broken. It would have broken all records of
Oh, yeah,
televised television in forever, right? I remember when back in the 80s, I think the numbers then for a closed circuit pay-per-view buys were 13 million, right? And
yeah.
and
It'll probably be
and
too
and
much for
for the
Netflix's bandwidth
servers,
for
yeah,
their
that's what
bandwidth.
yeah, it would crash it, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And I could imagine 200 million people watching that event.
Me too, bro. I'm like, I don't. That doesn't sound right. I don't think
You
we're ready
know,
for that.
you know how many people watched Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
How much?
105 million people live,
Every single
live.
person, bro. Every single person in the world probably watch it, bro.
Canelo, Jake Paul is way more relevant.
That'll
Believe it,
outlive.
I don't even know I don't even know if relevant is the word. Is
Oh,
much more grander
hey,
than
okay,
Mike Tyson.
right. And if I was Canelo, and I've always said this for a couple years now, ever
Mhm,
since Jake Paul has came to the scene, uh, if I was Canelo, I
mhm.
would actually take that Jake Paul fight at
Yeah,
the very last fight of my career. Like I said, the last one, it's like close the book on us and say I'm not a real boxer. I'm not a real boxer, but uh I'm a retired fighter and
mhm.
I still plan on doing exhibitions, and that'll do way more at what I'm saying? Like
That is
it's just,
true. That is true. But here's the thing, though. We don't know what the future promises Jake Paul, right? Because if we're talking about Canelo, who's 35 years of age, and he's talking about retiring at 38, that means 3 more years. We don't know if Jake Paul will be doing boxing in 3 more years, right? Because
well,
we
yeah,
don't know if he'll lose to the next guy,
yeah, it depends
right?
if the guy's willing to take the L with Jake. He's just got to find the right partner.
Yeah. So
That
see, now you're being the cynical, pessimistic person.
what? What did I
Yeah,
do?
the person that you always accuse me of, you're saying that everybody sells their booty to Jake Paul. You're one of those people that really doesn't believe Jake Paul can beat an old 40-year-old man, an old 60-year-old man. You really are the type of person that you think
You
he
know,
can't beat Mike
no,
Tyson.
do you know what I want to do? I want to go to every coach, uh like every single coach or every proclaimed coach that wants to be a coach. And I'm gonna make videos and I'll be like, do you think Jake Paul is selling? Do you think there's like some kind of NRA in the contract, like where they can't say nothing and he's getting knocked out? Like, do you think that's a high possibility? I guarantee you,
Yeah.
like 80% of them are gonna say, of course, he's not a real fighter.
I
That's
would I would disagree. You know why? Because they'd be like, I've never seen that in a professional fight. Because if they admit that there is that, then they admit that they've probably been presented with
hmm.
something like that.
Well, it
Nobody would
does
admit
happen.
that. I'd be like,
It,
nah, nah, I
it
don't know
does
what you're
happen
talking
too.
about. I
It
know,
does
of course,
happen
that
as well.
happens. We know people that take dives. We know that. I'm
Yeah,
just saying that nobody would admit. Nobody would admit that.
not Coach
In
Danny.
fact,
Coach Danny would never take a dive. But like it
Yeah,
just
no, no,
depends
I
on
know he won't. I know he won't. I'm not even saying that they would. I'm just saying that even admitting something to that would indicate that those people know that the sport is shady like that, and therefore they make themselves shady by that admittance, right? I don't think they would do that. But here's the thing, though. Even if they all said yes. I do believe there's an NDA. It wouldn't make it necessarily true. That's just a massive, opinion that yeah there is some NDA, but it doesn't make it a fact, right? Reading a couple of these last messages here. The Mexican G says Canelo's closing the chapter on himself because they say that we should help him close it. Eddie Medi says if they do happen to fight, one thing is for sure: I do not want to see Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan's booty cheeks.
Mm.
You know what? You know what, Medi? Neither do I, bro. Neither do I. The Mexican G says Canelo can take that fight when he retires. Well, I don't know if that's the right move. The Mexican right now, Mike, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul were the biggest thing to happen in the sport for a very long time. Right now is when the iron is hot. Right now is when you strike. Right again, we have been talking about how Jake Paul, we don't know what his future will be should he take another loss, right? So why risk Jake Paul becoming a shot fighter, a non-relevant entity 2 3 years from now? It could happen at any time. His allure, his greatness, his intrigue, he may not have it that long, right? So strike while it's hot. And in fact, here's the thing: the genius move behind Canelo fighting Jake Paul and in a venue like Netflix, which I hope would come at no extra price, blowing up the servers and whatnot, it would become the biggest event in the history of not only the sport but also one of the most watched television events in the past maybe 30 40 years, right? Which would mean that Canelo Alvarez could walk into negotiations with Turkey Ali Sheikh or any other promotion, knowing that he is that powerhouse. And then he could negotiate for the biggest prices in the world. Benavides, you got it. 150 million. You want me to fight Terence Bud Crawford? Heck yeah. 200 million. And I'll blow up the servers again on Netflix. And here's the other thing that you have to think, Dream. Turkey Ali Sheikh and Riyadh Season, along with Ring Magazine, just invested or purchased 10% of the zone as an app,
Ooh.
right? Turkey Ali Sheikh.
Oh,
See,
okay. Yeah.
Len Blavatsky. You see, here's the thing about the zone, right? The zone has been shedding money. It still hasn't really turned a profit. In fact,
Mm.
Len Blavatsky, who's the Russian
That's what I heard.
Jewish multi-billionaire oligarch, that guy, he just injected another, I think rumors say 7 billion just to keep the zone afloat. Right? This is going to be a losing venture up until it's not, guys. Here's the thing. What if, what if Turkey Al Sheikh would not want Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez to take their business to Netflix? What if the way to blow up the zone is to bring those guys to the app? What if he says, I'll have you guys fight in May, even though it's reported that the fight won't happen? But if I were, if I were Turkey Ali Sheikh, I would say, Canelo, you know what? I'm okay with you and Jake Paul, but bring it over to the zone. I
Mm.
think that would be the big power move that could really put the zone as app dedicated to the sport of boxing and to all things entertainment on the map. I think it
Mhm.
would definitely break the service of the zone if it's breaking the ones for Netflix, and they could keep that money in house. What do you
Well,
think about
dude.
that?
Well, man, I found this out through a crypto channel this dude knows tech, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking about the Mike Tyson uh Jake Paul fight, right? He says that their server actually crashed because there was too that's why it buffered for a little bit. everyone buffered for a little bit. It paused on everyone, but it was for like I don't know how many seconds, and that's what was going on behind the scenes. Is their bandwidth was crashing, and just that. So imagine a Canelo fight, and they're probably looking at asked Netflix, even say they were in talks, allegedly, and they were talking to Netflix, and Netflix was like, no, it can't work with us, like on the technical side, it's just gonna be too big. But yeah, I think the zone would be good. I'm not too techie, so I'm not sure like how that would affect, or even if having too many people on like on a space like the zone would crash at all. But it's really just Netflix that really like kind of stalled on everyone, which never happens with the zone pay-per-view, at least, unless you have bad internet or something. But it's just I agree. Yeah, pay-per-view, do it the old-fashioned way. Not the old-fashioned way, but you know what I mean. Um, pay-per-view, the zone, that's where Jake Paul's fights are, majority of his fights are, if anything, all of them. So yeah, I don't mind.
If they sold Jake Paul and Canelo for $10,
Well,
it
that's
would it would be incredible. It would definitely break servers. It would make so much money. It would be an
Netflix is a little more, I
incredible.
think. I think it's like $15 now.
Yeah, but what if they, I don't know, hosted the
It'll be
very first pay-per-view event?
No, that'll be part of their well, maybe yeah, they can, do some random stuff like that and just, and have their first ever pay-per-view on Netflix. But like I think last time with the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, it was with the subscription, which
Mhm.
was a game break, like a game changer kind of, because that was like first, not first ever, but because there's this app called the Fight app, and it's a subscription that I use to watch small time fighters.
Mhm.
Um, so that came with the subscription. So it's happened before, but not at that level, you know. So I think yeah, $10 would just I think it would just be a risk factor, like for the bandwidth and all that. Because I just learned about that. I'm like, dang, so we're not built to like have the whole world watch a fight, like we don't have that type of technology. I think like we would have to gather or something. But yeah, so um, pay-per-view, Jake Paul. I mean, like I said, that should be the very last fight. But um, yeah, dude, I think Canelo. It says I'm looking at it right here. The Ring magazine's actually you know the Ring Magazine actually posting it on their page. It's fight and writer, however you say it, in May, and then big fight in Las Vegas. It's like, dude, this turkey typing this stuff out. It's like he's letting us know fight in May, and then a big fight in Las Vegas. It's like, dude, you're being so like predictable. But I like it though because he's I like it, but then I'm like, just just let us prepare for this. Let us prepare for this. Let me buy tickets to this Canelo fight, and just give us all a shot, man. But I already know how it is. It's a money scheme, not a money scheme, but it's business, and they're gonna sell out the day they go on sale. As far as both Canelo, both Terrence Crawford and Jake Paul fights, if the Jake Paul fight ever happens. But yeah, I want William Skull to mess with one of these guys, with Crawford or Canelo, just to keep him busy.
Mhm.
Um, Crawford did say, "I'm waiting." He said he's waiting for Canelo, so I wouldn't be surprised because he does it a lot. Obviously, sometimes he only fights once a year. So he's saying that I'm waiting for Canelo in September. So, but Canelo's not really saying anything. He's saying all signs are pointing, fight in May. So I'm gonna guess William Skull. You know, um, that's what's That's what sounds right, you know. So yeah, and then he says big fight in Rida February 2026, big fight in Rida October 2026. So it's like yeah, Turkey's definitely like typing this stuff out. So it's just funny. It's just
Check
funny.
this out. This is crazy, man. Um, maybe I'm not Saudi, right? Maybe that's the reason I don't understand these things. But these were the reactions as reported on Ring Magazine Instagram. Canelo and Crawford's reaction to Alvarez's Riyadh season deal, right? Saul Alvarez, he posts on X, he just says, "Let's go, brother." And he puts up an emoji of a punch, right? And Turkey Al Sheikh is responding to Turkey Al Sheikh's message, which states, "Don't mess with the lion." A lion emoji. Four fights for Canelo with Riyadh season. The deal is done. Boxing emoji. A lion emoji, doesn't lose sleep over opinions of a sheep. Sheep emoji. Fear the lion emoji, not the sheep. And then he throws up a hand
Oh,
like, "What do I know?" And I'm like,
okay.
"So, well, what's he saying?" Like,
Can I
I
can
don't
I
know.
can I
Yeah,
say
please,
okay? So,
please.
um, there's this dude named Michael Coppinger. He's a
Hmm.
really like he is a legit source.
Hmm.
Um, so he's saying Turkey Al Sheikh is suspending efforts to finalize contracts for Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford in September in wake of Alvarez's novelty bout with Jake Paul. Sources tell ESPN, right? And this is what's getting me right here. Al Sheikh will instead look to make Crawford versus guess who? And I
Who?
just said his name.
William Skull.
Nope. Boots.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But at 154, right?
Yeah, but I'll take it. Anyways, Al Sheikh
No, no, no.
offered.
Yeah, no. I told you. Would you
Okay, you
take it
told me
in the
that?
meantime? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
Because
okay.
see, I told you, Boots looked mediocre against Karen Chagarsinian
Mm,
at 147. So he said he looked so bad and he was weight depleted that he wanted to go up to 154. Then they backtracked and they said, "No, we're going to stay at 147 because, you know, Crawford went up to 154, right?" And he was like, "Okay, everybody knows that he's stuck in Crawford." But we also know that Crawford looked bad at 154 against Israel Madrimov, right? So I thought, since both of them looked booty, right? And obviously, Terence Bud Crawford is not skillful enough to beat a guy that had 10 fights at 154. Why doesn't he bring up a smaller man up and Boots Ennis, who also looked bad, to 154 and introduce him to 154, where he would already have 154 experience and he could beat that guy? That would be a fair, maybe fight for the interim, but it wouldn't do nothing to prepare him for Canelo. It wouldn't do nothing to prepare him for harder, bigger fighters. He should move to 160, right? Or maybe, like you stated, move up to 168 to get that last belt with William Score if Canelo doesn't take that guy, so that it could be a unification for Undisputed instead of just Canelo putting all the belts and then Crawford is just moseying on in there to become a three-time Undisputed, right?
mm,
This
yeah.
is yeah, the Mexican G says, let's see what these commenters say. JD Space is lurking. He says, Mexican Macho Man snaps into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. Mexican
Mhm.
Macho Man snaps into a Carne Seca. Oh, yeah. That's hilarious, bro. I remember those commercials, man. The Mexican G says, I never thought I would say this, but I respect Turkey for not letting this happen.
Mm.
This is crazier than Beyonce winning Best Country Album, says Sadie Medi. That is pretty crazy, bro. If she won Best Country Album, that's ridiculous. The Mexican G says crazier than Hunter Biden's crack addiction. Nah, that's logical. There's nothing crazy about being addicted to crack. Crazier than
Mhm.
Showbiz's hairline. Wait, does Showbiz have a funky hairline?
Mm, nah, nah,
Oh my God, Eddie Medi calls him show piz.
nah. It's not that bad. I mean, nah.
Come on.
He's tripping. But
You're
yeah.
mean, man. That guy. Did I ever tell you about Showbiz? Right. I started Showbiz. I started following Showbiz when he had about 7,000 subscribers. Right.
Mm,
It was me and this guy named JD. I think his name was JD. Uh, his icon was Homer Simpson.
mm,
Uh, and we've been following Jake Paul for a while. And I remember telling my wife and my kids, I go, look, guys, this guy's gonna be a big one day. Watch, watch. This guy's gonna be big because he had that it factor, that je ne sais quoi, right? And I remember the day that I knew that Showbiz was gonna go places. He used to be, he used to work for the federal government under the Food and Drug Administration, if I'm not mistaken, right? So they're the ones that do experiments on food and medicine and stuff like that. And he had a little kosher, very kosher, cozy spot, right? And he went live and he walked in into these buildings, right? You have to have a special card you swipe, and then it recognizes it. They beep you in, and you go in there. And he's going in there, and he walks up to the security guard, and the guy's like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I just came to drop this off." He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, what's going on?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm resigning." Right? He's like, "Oh yeah, you're resigning." He goes, "Yeah, I'm resigning." He said, "Yeah, what are you gonna do?" Because the guy's probably thinking like, "Man, you have this great job right here working for the federal government with all these perks and everything. What are you gonna do?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm a commentator." And he's like, "Yeah, what do you do?" "I'm a YouTuber. I do boxing." He's like, "Oh yeah." So maybe you heard of me. It's like, "No, I don't know." Showbiz the adult, and they start talking, right? And all of this is going live, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, you know how sure he must be of himself to quit working for the federal government, for the department that he's working in, with all the perks and the retirement benefits. And he's giving all of that in order to start a YouTube channel. And that's when I knew this guy's going places. Right,
mm.
I was completely right, and now, of course, he's having contracts with the Zone and um, interviewing people at Showtime, and well, Showtime doesn't exist, but so far and so on, right? Um, his intros, my son, he'd be like, he would get to the camera and his big old eyeballs going all crazy. Hi, man, look, and it was just incredible. He had the it factor, and I knew he was going places, so I'm happy for my man Showbiz. But I guess Eddie Medi calls him Show piss. I personally can't stand showbiz. I can't stand the nigga using the word moist. Is what Eddie Medi says. Eddie Medi
Mm.
says his intro is whack as fuck. SF2. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I have to. I never catch the intros, Addy. I never catch the intros. I just remember the beginnings where I was there when he invented the eye man look. At first, it was weird, and he would actually hit the phone with his face, and then all of a sudden he started implementing the freeze. It was just a little bit. I saw all of that developing in real time. It was pretty cool. Dream, we talked about a lot, and something tells me that this is not the end of Canelo, Jake Paul, Terence Crawford, Turkey at Sheik news. Believe it or not, I think big news are coming. I know that Adi Medi reminded us about 18 fights so far to the date that have been canceled. 19 with Canelo and Terence Crawford, and Canelo and Jake Paul. But I think we're gonna have more to talk about pretty soon, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's just you know, making sure he gets the right, he moves correctly, and he's just trying to produce the right amount of hype. Not the right amount, but as much hype as he can for this Crawford fight. And he wants, like he's doing things his way, and you can tell like these events, like he's the way he's announcing these, these events. um never really hear people talk like this, especially coming from the Ringside magazine. So that says things are cooking, and things are coming to fruition, and it's only making the sport bigger. So I
Hmm.
can't. I have I have this. I'm torn. I'm torn between the sport growing and I'm torn between that and making things right with the sport of boxing. As
Hmm.
far as like you know the rankings, who's ranked higher, and I really don't look at that as much, but I just care more about because it's hard to say like, oh, he deserves a 6 shot over the 8 shot. Like I need like like paper evidence as to why someone deserves to get ranked higher as far as like common opponents and how they did against them and all that. But I care mostly about the opportunities that these guys get. And if you know, and when they don't get it, that's when it's like a problem. And when they're usually like mandatories for years and all that. Um, that's what I care mostly about when dudes are waiting for hella long. It's like, okay, dude, like let's get this guy a world championship bout. He's been waiting for 3-4 years. Let's get
Yeah.
him that shot. You know, um,
Yeah.
I'm more like I find more like I see TBV less. Like he'll actually put in work on those types of situations, and he actually
Yeah.
like makes things happen. And I like hearing things like that. Like that makes me like I would be a proud fan. The fact that I got people connected, like oh yeah, like I made this fight happen in a sense. I get, so it's just closed mouths don't get fed sometimes, and sometimes even the open mouths don't get fed either. Um, so I could there's a
True.
lot of situations I can think about, but as long as Jake Paul gives like opportunities, if that fight happens with him and Canelo, like I just hope somebody who's been waiting a long ass time, someone who's been waiting a long ass time to get an opportunity, gets their opportunity. Um, like there's a dude that's supposed to fight Inoue, I forget his name. You probably know him. He's been his mandatory for years, and he still wouldn't fight him.
Hmm.
He's been ducking him for 3 years, and it's like, dude, just fight this man already. And he does look dangerous. I seen him fight already, on the zone. But him, dudes like Stanionis,
Hmm.
he's actually starting to fight a little more. But before, man, this guy would come out in interviews saying that he's like struggling and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, I was there. I was there. I would watch
And
those where he said he was opening up his own gym just to keep afloat.
yeah, dude, and it's like,
Yeah,
dude, that's sorry my language, like that's sad, man. I hate
that is
stuff like
sad.
that. I hate hearing stuff like that because they need like this is the harsh reality, and people are like say, oh, this guy, who has he fought? Who has he fought? It's like, dude, he's trying to fight right now. He's struggling. Like, what the hell do you want? Like, and
Yeah, but he's struggling because, like you stated, closed mouths don't get fed.
exactly.
So a
And
lot of them is really their fault for the most part. They could sue, but
well,
they're
no.
afraid of the
What
consequences.
It's that situation's different. He actually was that dude was supposed to fight Virgil,
Hmm.
and Virgil passed out like 3 times. He
Hmm.
couldn't make weight like 2 or 3 times. Like he couldn't
Whoa,
make weight
whoa!
2 or 3 times
So the
against
first time
Stanionis.
it was Virgil. Then it was Stanionis with that appendicitis,
Oh,
and
that's
then it
right.
was they just fell through right after like a year and a half or
And then it
two of
was
negotiations.
Virgil after that. When
Yeah,
he passed out. Like
when he went
so,
up in weight,
that was like unfortunate.
that was
And
unfortunate.
so that's I guess you can say not really his fault. But it's his fault for trusting Virgil that he's gonna make
And
weight
Golden
again.
Boy,
And Golden Boy, he
yeah.
probably and who knows what options he had. You never
And
really
you
know.
know who else?
Hmm.
For trusting the PBC.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, PBC. Who is he signed to? Who's PBC? What's PBC got to do with it?
He Mantis Stanionis was signed
Oh, that's
with the
right.
PBC, and he fought the Butayev, remember?
Mm.
And then it was supposed to get that shot for Terence Bud Crawford, but they just kept on negating him until he ended up going to bet it all against Virgil Ortiz and at the Golden Boy stable. Um, Yeah, no, see, Dream, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of injustice in the sport of boxing. But here's the very interesting thing, right? If everybody played by the rules in the sport, we probably wouldn't be thinking about a fight that would break the servers of Netflix with Canelo and Jake Paul, right? Those things happen because people don't play by the rules, right? The reason some of these boxers become bigger than the sport themselves is not because they play by the rules or fight over the people, it's because they break them, they defy them, right? Canelo seems to be one of those guys. We've addressed the situation of Canelo today. We addressed them 2 days ago, and I believe we addressed them 5 days ago, right? Canelo is not necessarily playing by the rules. He is forging his own path and flaunting the rules, denying the rules. And look at where he is at right now. He is a greater than life individual that everybody wants to see. Whether they want to see a cross from the ring or up in a flat screen, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants to follow this guy around. The same thing with Jake Paul. And these are people that do not abide by the rules. The sport of boxing has no formula. We thought it meant put up exciting fights. The fans will appreciate that, and that is not the case. Dream, we live in a topsy turvy world where the sport of boxing has once again proven to us that it manipulates us. But the more I think about it, the more I think we manipulate ourselves. We allow these people, these institutions, to get away with so much because that's really what we crave. We we are masochistic, we are sadist, we want to see people suffer, and we don't mind if they make us suffer again. Dream, I'm just going to read a couple of these last messages, then we're going to call it a night because I think I'm tired of talking about Canelo. As interesting as these news are and exciting that Turkey Al Sheikh seems to have corrected the path of Canelo, it still is very distressing to me. But just some funny things. Check this out. This is what Eddie Medi says. Well, first off, the Mexican G says he was cool, but he became very arrogant over the years. One streamer in particular got on my nerves when he talked down and made fun of people that couldn't afford pay-per-views. Yup, that arrogant. I make $500 an episode, and I can afford things that you can't. So therefore, you're a bum. Yeah, that would definitely rub people off. Eddie Mary says, I don't like him at all, especially since he blocked me because I was talking shh to him on a PBC live chat. Yeah, well,
Mm.
I mean, you're talking smack to him, bro. He says, I
Mm.
called him show bias. Oh, wait, show bias. Wow, you're so good at this, Eddie. I called him show bias the adult and put frog emojis. He's a celebrity now, so he has to suck it up. That's true. He has to play nice. He can't be cursing around and acting a fool. He has to, you know, play the role that they want him to at the zone and all these other institutions. Like when I called, oh my God, my son better not hear me say this. Eddie Medi seems to have called my 11-year-old son's favorite wrestler, famous female wrestler, Rhea Ripley, a bad word that I will not say out of respect for my son when he went to the WWE. And Arimeri says she understood the assignment. I just remembered, isn't Carlos Adames versus Hamra Shiraz on the verge of being canceled? On the verge of being canceled? Why? They're going to start turning down Turkey Al Sheikh money for what? What else do they have going on? I wonder what Carlos Adames is banned from Saudi Arabia. What? Man,
Yeah, I don't
Dream,
know.
we have some incredible people here, man. Eddie Medi, the Mexican G. We
Mm-hmm.
we have not, Lights Out Sal who came in and chimed. We had this new commenter who came over here. what was this, JD Spades is lurking. These very informed individuals that have a sense of humor, and they make us actually ponder different things. Like I did not know Carlos Adames was banned from Saudi Arabia. Like who knows that kind of stuff? You know, Dream. We have to do this again, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, let me know. This one, I was a little shocked that Rick went live, so soon. I mean, not so soon, but like
So
I
late.
feel like late, and we just went live yesterday, right, or the day before, and yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
But I want to talk to you about other things, man. I want to talk to you. Look, I told you I want to talk to you about Elon Musk. I want to talk
Uh,
to you about, the synchronicity. I want to talk to you about cryptocurrency. I want to talk about, the future of money. I want to talk to you about strange going-ons, right? Strange going-ons. There's so many things out there,
on
you
your
know.
channel or what?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do it on my
I
channel.
don't know.
It's just that it, there's some incredible news going on about so many different things, Dream, and I'm just confused. Maybe I'm just older. Maybe I can't think sharp anymore. Maybe I just need, a fresh mind to help me understand this more modern world. But I would really love to talk to you guys about other stuff besides the sport of boxing, because the sport of boxing has been very overwhelming recently. Mexican G, buenas noches, mi gente, buenas noches a usted igualmente, mi amigo. And anybody that's out there who listened into this your life today, I appreciate you coming in to conference with us to congregate and discuss this very beautiful but also overwhelming sport of boxing. I'm sure we'll do it again. Hopefully, we can give ourselves a break of a couple of days so that we don't have to come over here and just talk about something else. But something tells me, Dream, we're going to be reuniting sooner rather than later. Any last words, Dream?
Uh, my name is
Don't you want?
Jeff. No, I'm just kidding. But
Don't you want to plug your business?
oh yeah, yeah. I think I'm working on like socials, but I'm pretty sure everyone here is into like boxing and like art and appreciates, you know, like the t-shirts or like art, but yeah, my brand is called Ecstatic. I couldn't really post it. You weren't able to click it on the chat.
Hmm.
Uh so literally like trying to follow as many people right now because making socials can take time, and then you got to follow people, and it won't let me follow as many people as I wanted to, so it's going to take some time. But
Hmm.
if you guys can help me build a following, um just follow me at x underscore static 101, and you'll see an X on the with on the avatar. You see an X static sign. I'm only following 8 people because it will not let me follow any more people. So um,
Wow,
yeah, so I was trying to follow like 500 people really quick, and it didn't let me do that.
really quick. Huh?
Yeah, really quick, just and just go through my list of followers and like people who I'm following, and just go
Mhm.
boom, just start hitting follow, 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 and it only let me go up to 8. So um, yeah, I gotta do this slowly. So
It's all
uh,
good.
yeah, and honestly, yeah, I'm just building right now, and I figured, you know, I really release this store, or open it up to the public, and just continue to work, because I could have done this a long time ago, and told you guys about it, but I've just been holding all this art in the bank for a minute, and I got more, so, and I want to be able to go a direction, so.
And I'm not too sure, Dream. I know you've been very busy, but the homie Ricky and I, we were talking about the direction of the channel, the the things that I propose to uh, to get more involved and to take it a bit more serious. I take it quite serious, right? Homie Ricky takes it quite serious. We do our research, but we want to we want to stand out, right? Because whether we're a small channel or not, we want to always provide you guys quality, and we want to provide you a place that you guys can come over here, feel comfortable saying whatever you want. You're never gonna be censored here, right? And I don't even think there should be a reason to censor the kind of people that come to our channel. They're very astute, very intelligent, and very hilarious, and they mean well, right? But we do have to talk also about our channel and where it's headed. There's been significant growth, uh, and I want to grow it more, just out of respect for our listeners and also for ourselves, right? Because maybe we're not the most smartest people. I mean, Arimeri proved so much that I don't know today, right? All the fights that have been canceled that I wasn't aware of, all these other things that he posted today that I did not know of. In fact, I believe, he was reporting, novelties in the sport at the same time that they were, being released by the Ring magazine. So those are the kind of people that we want to grow this channel for because they've contributed significantly. Mr. Vince Vargas, El Pachuco, Mexican G, Adi Medi, people like UBE and all of these other people that come over here, they've provided a reason for us to congregate. So we'll be figuring out ways to make this channel more valuable for all. But Dream, I want to have you in those conversations also because you're a very significant player. But I also wish you the best in your venture of doing business and whatnot. There you go, your ecstatic logo type. That's a
Hmm.
very nice looking icon. In fact, I'm gonna have to purchase something from you.
You don't
um,
have to right away. I can we can figure something out. Uh, I'll tell you in the back soon, but don't buy anything yet. Well, yeah,
okay,
I
okay.
guess if you want. If no, 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 I'm a yeah, I'm gonna see how they fit and stuff like that because they're still coming in. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I was gonna say I'll just give you guys one.
You give material, yeah, or something like that. That'd be great. Dream. Uh, we
Yeah,
have to we have to do this again, man. I wish you the best
there's
for.
a
Mhm.
AIG right there, ecstatic 101. So yeah, I'm still working on marketing, but it doesn't hurt to, have it available for people in case they magically find out because no one's gonna find out until I spread the word.
True.
But the people who are listening to me right now can get a head start, and and maybe I go up in price because it just gets so popular. No, I'm just kidding, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, maybe I even commission you to do something just for my listeners or the homie Ricky's. We'll see how far we can go, but let's call it a night for the time being. And I wish you a wonderful even fall for the homie Ricky. Dream 123 and myself, your interlocutor for the night, Warp Speed. I do hope you are doing well of health and sane of mind. Please look at your loved ones right in the eyeballs. Tell them you love them. Find a way to smile and always engage.
Peace.